Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari. Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari. Yashodanandana Vraj Jana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Vraj Jana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jai Om Vishnupat Paramams Parivrajakacarya Shrutarshad Shri Śrīmad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Grantraj Śrīmad Bhāgavatam Ki Nitai Gaur Premanande Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today we are reading from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 19, entitled King Yayati Achieves Liberation, text number 18. Purnam Varsha Sahasram Me Vishayan Sevato Sakrit Tathapi Chanu Savanam Trishna Teshu Pajayate Purnam Varsha Sahasram Me Vishayan Sevato Sakrit Tathapi Chanu Savanam Trishna Teshu Pajayate Purnam Varsha Sahasram Me Vishayan Sevato Sakrit Tathapi Chanu Savanam Trishna Teshu Pajayate. Chanu Savanam Krishna Teshu Pajayate. Mataji's Purnam Varsha Sahasram Me Vishayan Sevato Sakrit Tathapi Chanu Savanam Krishna Teshu Pajayate. Purnam Varsha Sahasram Me Vishayan Sevato Sakrit Tathapi Chanu Savanam Krishna Teshu Pajayate. Purnam completely, Varsha Sahasram 1000 years, may my Vishayan sense gratification, Sevatah enjoying, Asakrit without cessation, continuously, Tatha api still, Cha indeed, Anu Savanam more and more, Trishna lusty desires, Teshu in sense gratification, Upajayate are increased. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. I have spent a full 1000 years enjoying sense gratification, yet my desire to enjoy such pleasure increases daily. Purport. Maharaj Yayati is explaining in terms of his actual experience how strong are sexual desires even in old age. So that's the end of purport. We'll soon read from other Prabhupada's purports. Om Agyantimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So here King Yayati is speaking. I have spent a full 1000 years enjoying sense gratification, yet my desire to enjoy such pleasure increases daily. So in the recent classes we have been hearing the example of fire. If you put fuel to the fire, it keeps increasing. More fuel you put, it will increase more. And in 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita also, it says that the lust is like fire, it is never satiated. It will keep increasing. And this is one case study of Maharaj Yayati. And he has realized that from his own example. But he has realized that by experience. He must have heard, because he was a king, and kings in previous ages were Raj Rishis. They were almost like saints, which means they would go to Gurukul and learn Shastra. So he must have heard so many times that lust cannot be satisfied, but still he gave into it, and now by experience he learned. So as we know, there are 3 types of intelligence. You can learn by hearing, or learn by experience, or not learn at all, even by experience. And you can keep repeating the mistake. So here, at least Yayati Maharaj is showing at least the 2nd class intelligence, that now I have experienced that I have no satisfaction, even after enjoying sensual pleasure for 1000 years. So this is some previous age where the age of human beings was more than 100 years, of course. In this day and age, maximum age ideally is 100 years, which is reducing because of bad lifestyle, bad food. Who lives for 100 years these days? Very rare. If you live for more than 100 years, you'll be somewhere in Guinness book. But this was normal in maybe 100 years ago, 200 years ago. But the average age is decreasing because of bad lifestyle. So Maharaj Yayati, he has understood his mistake, and now he's going to renounce and he'll get liberation. So this is the goal of human life, to get liberation somehow or the other. You can learn by hearing, get liberation, that is good. You learn by experience, you get realization, that is good. So main thing is realization. So in Varnashram system, the design is such that you will get realization. You can go back to Godhead from any ashram, and you can get the same realization in any ashram. So there is no higher or lower in that sense. You get the same realization. It's not that the realization of a brahmachari or a sannyasi or a grahastha or a vanprastha is different. It's the same realization that I am part of Krishna and I have to serve Krishna. I've been serving material energy, and this service of material energy has not satisfied me at all. So that's the example given, is how a materialist works very hard for the employer. Neither the employer is happy and satisfied, nor the servant, employee, is happy. So there is one verse in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, which is quoted in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, which exactly describes this situation. So I'll read that verse. So it's from the Madhya Leela, chapter 22, the process of devotional service. You must have heard this verse, very popular. Kamadi nam katina katidha palita durnidesha stesham jata mai na karuna na trapano pashanti. So basically here, this is a prayer of a devotee. Here, a devotee who has realized his fault in serving material energy, he is praying to Krishna, just like Maharaj Yayati. So here, translation is, O my Lord, there is no limit to the unwanted orders of lusty desires. Although I have rendered these desires so much service, they have not shown any mercy to me. I have not been ashamed to serve them, nor have I even desired to give them up. So this is the situation of a materialist. So what does it say here? Na karuna, na trapa, no pashanti. We would expect that if we serve someone, they would be satisfied. But material service is such that the master is not satisfied. And the servant is not satisfied. So this material service, it says na karuna. It doesn't show any mercy. You would expect that, oh, I have served so long, for so many years, now at least my masters, material masters should show me mercy. But no, they want more and more out of you. And na trapa. I have not been even ashamed of doing such service. And I have no desire to give them up. Even after realizing that the master and the servant is not happy. Only by association of a devotee can someone realize that. So further in this prayer, it is said, O my Lord, O head of Yadu dynasty, recently, however, my intelligence has been awakened, and now I am going to give them up. Due to transcendental intelligence, I now refuse to obey the unwanted orders of these desires, and I now come to you to surrender myself at your fearless lotus feet. Kindly engage me in your personal service and save me. So Prabhupada in the purport, he says that this is the meaning of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. We are praying to the energy of Krishna. O Radharani, O Krishna, please engage me in your service. I have been serving this material energy and there has been no satisfaction. So that's the goal of human life, to realize that. So by mental speculation, we cannot realize the ultimate goal of life. So that's why bhakti process is considered the topmost. You hear from the authority and you follow the prescribed processes and you will get the realization. So in one conversation where Prabhupada discusses about different philosophers, and there's a book also, Beyond Illusion and Doubt. In that, one chapter is about the Greek philosopher Socrates. So Socrates had some realization that I am different from the body. So that's why he created kind of revolution amongst young generation and contemporaries. So the rulers were unhappy. So they wanted to kill him. And he was not afraid. They said, you should drink this poison. It was called hemlock or something. And he was not afraid. He said, I'm not the body, you cannot kill the body. So then in the conversation, disciple asked Prabhupada that was he a pure devotee or what was his situation? A yogi or what was his situation? Was he a jnani? So Prabhupada said he was a muni, a thoughtful person. So if you are thoughtful, you can understand you are different from the body, but it's not possible to understand that you are part of Krishna and what is the beauty of name, form, pastimes, qualities. You cannot understand all that. So you have to hear, you have to perform bhakti to get that sort of realization, the Bhagavan realization. And the realization what Socrates or other munis may have, that is obtained after many, many lifetimes. Prabhupada said that. Bahunam janmanam ante jnanvan mam prapadyate vasudeva sarvamiti sa mahatma sudurlabha. Such a great soul who understands, who realizes that Vasudeva or Krishna is everything. Such a soul is very rare. So that's why waste our time to learn by experience and speculation. So here there is one example of Yayati Maharaj, that after so many lifetimes, so many years, he was trying to engage in sense gratification, but there was no pleasure. And the example of various munis, they spent so many years. So one example, analogy is, if it's midnight, there is no sun, and you want to see sun. So there are two ways. One way is you rest, you sleep and wake up, the sun will be there in the morning. So that's the easy way. And the difficult way is you go to the space center and hop onto a rocket and go up. And go up in the atmosphere, then you'll be able to see sun. So that's very difficult process. So this is the comparison between bhakti and jnana process. So bahunam janmanam ante, after so many lifetimes of speculation and thinking, you may be able to realize some aspect of the Supreme. But bhakti is so easy, you just hear and chant, and you will realize that how Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because Krishna reciprocates dadami buddhi yogam tam. He will reveal everything from within the heart of a devotee who is engaged in his service. So this is the simple process. So as we hear in lectures, it is said that it is so difficult to go to hell. People work hard and try to earn and try to gratify their senses. The senses are not gratified, and then they material masters cannot be satisfied ever. So this sense gratification, lust, on a global scale, it's called economic development. So as we know, there are four goals of human life: dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. So most people are interested in artha and kama. And artha, they want economic development so that they can get sense gratification. But they are not able to do that. The whole economy and politics, the situation is such, there is always chaos. The economy is always on the verge of dropping down. The recession and so many things are there. No jobs. Students study so hard, and these days they have to study, go to school for how many, 14 years, then university for at least 4 years, then you may do masters, then PhD. And then how many of those students get jobs in the same field in which they have done the study? It's becoming more and more difficult because the AI is here taking all the jobs. You have developed AI, artificial intelligence, but then it is taking over your jobs. So what is the solace? So dharma is sidelined, and then people focus on economic development so that there is more sense gratification. But it's not there. So the most recent Nobel Prize in economics is given to 3 economists, and they have researched that the technological innovation is directly proportional to economic development. So they study that what was the GDP, the country's GDP, what is it, gross domestic product, the total money or wealth a country has per capita, per person, it has increased since Industrial Revolution was there. For centuries previously, it was stagnant. There was no economic development. That's what they say. Of course, we hear of different reality from scriptures, that how previously there was so much wealth. Okay, I'm going on a tangent very short, for a short time, that it's mentioned in Krishna book, in Dwarka, he had there were how many palaces? Krishna, of course, has his personal 16,108 palaces for 16,108 queens, but there were palaces belonging to other people in the kingdom. I think there were 900,000 palaces, something like that, I vaguely remember. So many palaces were there, and Krishna was giving so much charity. He was giving 13,054 cows daily from each palace. So how many cows are there? 16,108 times 13,054. Any mathematicians here? Quick calculation. Some millions, tens of millions cows each day. So it is mentioned that opulence of Dwarka on the earth planet was so much that actually it looked as if the opulence was more than Goloka Vrindavan. So there was so much wealth, and we read of how these palaces were made. The walls were made of ivory, and the jewels, gold, silver, all these things were in abundance, pearls. And in one purport, Prabhupada writes, and now people dress themselves up with plastic, which is considered in one sense mochi. Previously, even the plates were of silver and gold. You would eat off those plates. Now at least we try to have silver or in some cases gold plates for offering to the Lord. But anyway, so these economists have researched that previously there was stagnation in economic growth, but since this technological innovation is there, the steam engine came and then electricity came, so now we are advancing and the GDP is increasing. So they got the Nobel Prize. But what about the satisfaction? Of course, that study is not factual. The wealth was there, but even if you consider that their study is factual, their data is factual, but still, where is the improvement in satisfaction and happiness? Especially in the first world, mentally related problems are increasing. The psychology is totally devastated by this social media and this so-called modern advancement. So these are the real things that we will find in the scriptures. Otherwise, it's not possible to understand. We will be forced to surrender to Maya, because we have to serve. As spirit soul, we are pleasure seeking, and for pleasure we need some sort of relationship. So if we don't have any higher taste, then we have to settle with the lower taste, because we can never be void. A soul is always active. Nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatu tishtatya karmakit karyate yavasha karma sarva prakriti jair gunain. Not even for a moment you can be passive. A soul is always active. So we have to engage in someone's service. So if there is no opportunity to serve Krishna, then we have to serve Maya. And here we can see King Yayati's situation. He is not satisfied. So great sages, with their compassion, they propagate Krishna consciousness, and that is mission of Krishna. Why did Krishna appear? In Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, in Kunti Maharani's prayers, she says that people have different opinions. Why did Krishna appear? Some say Krishna appeared to satisfy Devaki and Vasudeva. Some say he came to fulfill desire of Lord Brahma, because Lord Brahma with other demigods went on the shore of Milk Ocean to pray to the Kshirodakshayi Vishnu and request his appearance. And then from within the heart he got the message that Krishna himself will appear. So some say, Kunti Maharani says that some say Krishna appeared to fulfill Lord Brahma's desire. And Krishna himself says, he reveals why he comes. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Whenever there is a dharma, irreligion, Krishna appears in some form or the other. And in Kali Yuga, Krishna came as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission, Krishna's mission, is still going on. So there is this pastime mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita, where in Navadvip, this Sankirtan movement was being spread under the leadership of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. Initially, of course, in his pastimes, he was present as Nimai Pandit, a logician, a Sanskrit scholar. He would teach Sanskrit grammar to students, even to those who were his classmates, because he was so intelligent, he would teach them. But he would engage in logical arguments with others. And people would get frustrated because no one could defeat him in arguments, logical arguments. So that's a whole field of study. It's called Nyaya, logic. So he would give an argument and ask others to defeat that argument. And then if they were not able to do that, he would defeat it himself and then keep going like that. So everyone would say that, oh, if this Nimai Pandit becomes a devotee, it would be so good. He would become such a good devotee. That's what preachers should think. When we see other people, we should see some merit. It may be dushkriti, they may be utilizing their merit for wrong things, but we should see that the merit is there and the origin of merit is Krishna. And if this person becomes a devotee, this devotee would become a better devotee than me. So a preacher thinks like that. So anyway, people devotees in Navadvip were thinking that what if Nimai Pandit becomes a devotee? And they told him as well. And then he said, oh, it may be true one day, like that. And later we know that in the past times, how he got initiated by Ishwara Puri and he became a devotee. And when he came back to Navadvip after, I think, the Shraddha ceremony of his father, then he brought a whole wave of devotional service. And then the Sankirtan movement started to spread there. And then later, of course, he took sannyas and spread the movement more and more. So one time, the Sankirtan was there, chanting of Hare Krishna everywhere, every nook and corner of Navadvip. So the Muslim in charge of that area, Chand Kazi, got very upset. And he went to one kirtan ceremony and he broke a mridanga there. That, how come you are doing this kirtan? You were all very silent these days. Who is inspiring you to do this? So because he was ruling that particular area, so he had some authority. So he broke the mridanga and the news came to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Mahaprabhu said, let's do a procession with the lamps, what do you call those? The torches. Yeah, with these torches, with fire, let's do a procession. So he collected all the devotees. There were thousands and thousands of people. And then they marched towards Chand Kazi's house. And when Chand Kazi found that out, he got afraid and he hid in the inner part of his house. And some of the people, they were so disturbed. And you know, when there is a big mob, it become the whole procession becomes a bit rowdy. And so some people destroyed the garden and walls, etc. of Chand Kazi's house. Recently we know that the Gen Z has been making a lot of protests around the world recently in Nepal and Sri Lanka and other places. So everyone is afraid. Even the governments are afraid what to do. So in the same way, Chand Kazi got a bit afraid when there are thousands of people coming with lighted torches. Anyone would become afraid, especially a materialist. So then he hid himself. Then Mahaprabhu sent some respectable people that call him. I have come to talk to him. Just call him outside. So then he came. And Mahaprabhu asked that when a guest comes to your house, you should welcome the guest with open arms. And sweet words, as we know, when a guest comes, you give them a place to sit, some sweet words, a water to drink. At least these are the basic things a host can do. So Mahaprabhu said, I was expecting at least these basic things, and you hid yourself. What is this? Is this a proper etiquette? So then Chand Kazi, in low voice, he said, see, I thought you were very angry when you were coming, but now I see you are a bit pacified, so that's why I have come out. So then they discussed that what happened, and we know the pastime that actually Chand Kazi, Narsimhadev came and in his dream and threatened him that if you stop kirtan, that will be end of you. So anyways, this Sankirtan movement is spreading. So in one of the purports in that section, Prabhupada says that 500 years ago, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started this Sankirtan movement, there was some obstacle. And now we are trying to spread this Sankirtan movement with the same empowerment coming from Krishna and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and we are also finding some obstacles. We are trying to spread this movement. This is from Prabhupada, paraphrasing from Prabhupada's purport. He said, we are trying to spread the mission in New York, London, Sydney, Melbourne, Hamburg, but we are being especially persecuted in Australia, which proves that this is a genuine movement. Because if it was some small material affair, no one would care, right? So because it is the powerful Sankirtan movement, so these materialists are trying to stop it. So actually, if there is some obstacle from society or government, we should think like that now we are doing something. If you don't do anything, no one will bother you. You sit in your home, eat and sleep, no one will bother you. If you go out, distribute books, do Harinam, then people will say, oh, what's this? They will get angry initially. Then if they keep doing it, they will become purified, and some of them will join the Sankirtan movement. So this is the Sankirtan movement. This is the power of Sankirtan movement. No one can stop it. Apparently, they may stop it for some time in some places. We may see there are some countries where Harinam and book distribution, it's not allowed publicly. But still, somehow, devotees are performing these activities. So as much as possible, we should take this advantage of spreading this movement. And then we can see that how these lusty desires from the core of the heart, they will go away. So this process given is very practical. Krishna, in the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita, one verse which is quoted 2 times, most of it is similar. Manmana bhav mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. Just think of me, worship me, pay your homages, pay obeisances to me. And just by that process, you will come to me. This is the simple process. So in one book by Srila Sanatan Goswami, it's called Krishna Leela Stava. It's a very short book, like 400 verses, and it consists of prayers and obeisances. So Sanatan Goswami very beautifully writes shlokas which are obeisances. So he pays 108 obeisances in that book by the medium of the verses, his prayers. So there it is mentioned, and there's a BBT edition of that, very beautifully done by His Grace Gopi Parandana Prabhu. And there in one purport, it's written that there are 4 types of obeisances. This is an art, how to pay obeisances to the Lord and also to the devotees. So when do we pay obeisances to the devotees? On a daily basis in temple program. Anyone knows? Sorry? Yes. And? Yes, in the morning after Tulsi Arti, we do, let's pay our obeisance, humble and respectful obeisances to all Vaishnava devotees of Lord. They are just like desire trees, they can fulfill desires of everyone, and they are full of compassion for the fallen conditioned souls. So that time, and when you enter the temple room, you pay obeisances, that is Vaishnava Pranam. You can recite the same mantra, and while going also you can do. And you can do any time. So Raghunath Das Goswami had a vow. He was, I think, paying daily obeisances to 1,000 devotees or something like that. It's written in Chaitanya Charitamrita. And he also had a vow to pay obeisances to the lords so many times. So just by paying obeisances, you're performing devotional service. So here in Krishna Lila Stava, it's mentioned there are 4 types of obeisances. One is called Abhivadana, or respectful greetings. Then one is Ashtanga, when 8 limbs are touching the floor. Then Panchanga, 5 limbs are touching the floor. And then the 4th type is Kara Shira Samyoga, raising one hands to one's head. So these are the 4 types of obeisances. So the first one is when you just say, you may say Namaha, it says here Namaha, or just say, Sir, so and so, I offer you my respects. If you say that, this is one type of obeisance. Then in Ashtanga, 8 limbs are touching the floor. With 8 limbs, you pay obeisances. So what are those 8 limbs? So when I read this, there's different description. There is a shloka given there. Anyone knows at least 1 or 2? What 8 limbs are there in Ashtanga Pranam? Forehead? Nose? Sorry? 2 hands, you will consider them 2 or 1? 2 separate. Okay. Knees, yes. So, okay, I'll read this. So here it says, bowing with one's feet. So both feet are considered 1. So 1 count. Then hands, knees, chest, head, sight, voice and mind. So that's according to Shastra. There is a shloka given there. And when you do Panchanga Pranam, then it's your hands, knees, head, voice and sight. So these are the descriptions there. So your body, mind and speech, basically these 3 things have to be surrendered to Krishna. So in these, just by doing this is a process of surrendering. It's so simple. It's a good exercise also. If you do 100 obeisance, Dandavat Pranam, it's almost 50 push-ups there. So, so good exercise, good for body, good for mind, good for your spirit. No harm, but still people will not do it. Why? Because of pride. There's one verse I think just got reminded in 2nd canto. Na uttamangam namen mukundam. One whose head is so heavy with the turban and especially the pride. It's very heavy. That sort of head will not bow down. It's because bowing down means your head is coming to the feet of someone, Krishna or devotees. And that's a process of surrender. But if you are proud, you don't want to bow down. There was a song by someone, right? What was that? Bow down, mister, or something like that. So this is the situation. You can try to get economic development, sense gratification, but you will be unable to do that because this is Dukhalayam, this place of misery. You cannot have happiness here. You can only attempt to have that. So we are learning here from the example of King Yayati. He learned by experience. We can learn by hearing of his example. So I'll end there and see if you have any questions or comments on what we discussed. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thanks for a nice class. In the beginning, you mentioned how there was 3 types of intelligence. One from hearing, one from experiencing, and one who doesn't learn at all. So in Kali Yuga, it seems that most of us, or for myself, are in that second category or that third category where we have to experience the trauma of material activities before we actually realize it. But then we want to, through reading and hearing, we want to attain that first level of intelligence of being able to just from hearing and not perform the activity. But it seems so hard to attain that first class intelligence. So besides reading or hearing, how can we have these realizations?
So realization comes, of course, Krishna says Dadami Buddhi Yogam. So we have to please Krishna and engage in this hearing and chanting process, especially in the association of devotees. So like this class is, of course, there is one person speaking, others are hearing, but this is actually Macchitta Madhgarta Purana, discussing about Krishna in the presence of devotees. There is one verse in Padma Purana, I think, where it says, I am not in the hearts of yogis and I am not in Vaikuntha. I am present there where my devotees are chanting my glories. So here Krishna is present. So to the degree the speaker speaks purely and to the degree audience is submissively hearing, to that degree Krishna is present there. So this is the process, very simple process to get realization. So we don't need to be on second, definitely we shouldn't be on third level. At least on second level is good. And first level, top class, first class intelligence is the best by learning from hearing. Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you for the nice class. Prabhu, in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says that whenever there's a decline in religious practices or whenever there's a rise in irreligion, then he will appear. But on the other side, we've also heard that Lord Krishna appears once in a day of Lord Brahma. So now we're saying there's so much irreligion around us. Wars are happening, people are protesting for no reason. So would there be a reason where Krishna would come, or would there be an instance where Krishna could appear right now, I guess?
So Krishna himself comes once in day of Brahma. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes once in the day of Brahma, and Lord Ram comes once in a day. But there are so many incarnations of Krishna. So what is the incarnation present now? Kali Kale Naam Rupe Krishna Avatar. What is the avatar in Kali Yuga? The holy name, the spreading of Sankirtan movement through book distribution, Harinam, Sankirtan and Prasadam distribution. So Krishna is present himself like this. So more there is ignorance and darkness and war and crime, so more there is need for all these activities of Sankirtan movement. So we are assisting Krishna and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in bringing them to everyone. So we are like contact points all around the universe. Devotees are contact points for people who are drowning in this ocean of material existence. Okay.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Any other points, question, comments? Okay, thank you very much. Granth Raj Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.